$20 million referrals. Today we are focused on being the agent everybody loves to hire and refer in April. Great meeting ahead, a lot of material to cover, so we will go fast like we always do. Get through everything, get you in and out in those 20 minutes that we promise so that you can get back to business. So let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have something already, I encourage you to grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, something to write on. We want to make sure you're able to take some notes throughout, but to really kick things off, I have a couple of questions for you and want to set the stage for the rest of the meeting. So on that piece of paper, I want you to look back to the beginning of the year, and we'll call that Q1 for now, and think about your business and give it a ranking from 1 to 10 on how you feel about your business over that time period. So think about your referral generation activities. Think about your systems and processes. Maybe it's some education that you learned or things that you gained from the knowledge standpoint. Maybe it's some of the technology that you've incorporated into your business and adopted. Give that yourself a number for your business for the first quarter. And I encourage all of you, great. Lisa's already jumping on it. She's got a 10 in there as well. I love to hear that. I encourage all of you to put that number in to the chat. Again, if it's not a 10, it doesn't need to be. It's just a starting point. There's no judgment if you're, or a 2 or a 3. It's just we need to know where we're at so we have something to grow from. So thanks, Jeff's got a 6 in there. So we'll see others. And the nice thing about this is it's going to give us something to follow up with too over the course of the next quarter to see how we're growing and increasing. Because that's the next thing. I want you to think about, okay, where do you want that number to go in Q2? So Lisa's going to be dialing it up to an 11, so that's great. But for the rest of you who might have a number in there, think about where you want to go, what incremental step. Jeff, you go from a 6 to a 7 or whatever it might be. Put that in the chat as well, because again, that'll give us something to follow up with over the course of the next quarter and just see, hey, how are we progressing towards that goal? Alan's got a 5 in there. That's great. Okay, so we're learning about what everybody's looking to do, where they're at, and where they want to go. And then I encourage you, just as we're going through today's meeting, think and I try to identify one thing that you can grab from today's meeting and start to incorporate in your business right away, something that you can do that will help you reach that number for Q2 of where you want your business to be. So pay attention to that. Look for those things as we work through today's meeting. So let's jump right into it. We are following our 3-step process to help you be the agent everybody loves to hire and refer. So number 1 is to position you as that real estate industry expert using your real agent brand story. Number 2 is making sure that your sphere of influence feels seen through consistent, valuable, and personal connections. And we do that using the $20 million referral formula. And number 3, helping you build lasting bonds and trust by making sure your active clients feel heard and understood. And that's using our trusted client guide approach. All of this resulting in a more predictable, more enjoyable, business and more lucrative business. So if you want to dive deeper into each one of these categories, you can go to 20-mr.com/guidebooks and download materials that explain how all this works, the science behind it, and different tools and strategies for executing it in your business. So I encourage you to jump in and grab that guidebook. Today, our primary focus, as always in these meetings, is around the 20MR formula and executing on that, specifically executing on April and Q2 as we move into it. So if you don't have your formula, you can get that at the website, but encourage you to grab it and fill it out. Even if you don't have to start at the beginning of the year, you can start and you can jump in now. And again, just so you remember, You're not going and checking every one of these boxes. You're picking and choosing the things that make sense for you, that you like to do, that fit your personality and fit your business, selecting those, and then you can go to the membership site, grab those resources, grab those materials that make executing these activities that much easier because you don't have to start from scratch. You have so much of it provided for you. Our stat of the day. So I want you to write this one down. You got that paper and pen. 70%. 70% of people report that they cannot remember their real estate agent's name after just 12 months after closing. 70%. This is such a remarkably high number, shockingly high number, especially when you think about the fact that as real estate agents, we are involved in a very big moment in these people's lives. We think of the blood, sweat, and tears that you pour into them. You're working with some of them for months at a time. How can it be that 70% don't remember our names even after just 12 months, just 1 year's time? And in fact, this is the number one reason why we are not receiving more referrals. So, given this number being so large, it made me want to dive into it, dive into the research, figure out what is happening here. Because if we know why this is happening, we can learn how to prevent it so that we ultimately earn more referrals, which is what we want to do. And the answer came from here. This is a picture of a memory being made. This is a look inside the brain of all of your clients, of everybody in your sphere of influence. And this is some research that was recently published by Time Magazine. Extremely interesting. So all of those yellow dots in there, that is the new connections being made in the brain. So when a memory is made, there's new connections happening, and that's what solidifies that memory. But what is really interesting is they discovered all of those kind of bluish dots, light blue dots in there. Those represent connections being canceled or completely deleted. And so what they found is that the brain, in order to stay organized, in order to work efficiently, in order to make room for these new memories, it is going through and deleting things. It is finding things to get rid of to make room. So how does it choose, right? How does it decide what to keep and what not? And this is where our minds are so brilliantly made, is it's able to identify subconsciously, so we're not even aware of it, and look for, hey, what connections, what synapses haven't fired a lot, what if at all recently, and it can automatically deem those as, hey, that's not relevant anymore, and then boom, it deletes it. It's gone. And so they now call this new phenomenon active forgetting. So our brains actively forget things that aren't relevant to us anymore because those connections are not firing often enough. So, what does this tell us? For all of you who rely on your sphere of influence for those referrals, the consistency of your connections with them is what makes you memorable, because that's what causes those synapses to fire, and that's what will stop you from being actively forgotten. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that in April, because none of us want to be actively forgotten. We want to make sure that we're driving as many referrals as possible. And so here's specifically what is available in the Resource Center from calls and voicemails, emails and texts, mails and postcards for the month of April. And we are focused on springtime activities. We are focused on homeowners and what do they want to do around their house at that time. And so whether it's setting up some discounts with a mulch company or a greenhouse company, and offering that up to our clients. Also, letting those companies know that, hey, we are doing this and we would love any of their referrals as well. Maybe it's a landscaping company, you never know. Maybe it's just emailing or texting some market data or updates as we enter the spring market. People are more and more interested in what's going on in real estate, or just simply making sure that you have your birthday and home anniversary cards today. Go into your CRM, download the list of people for April. Make sure you write all those cards. Go and order a box of greeting cards on Amazon today, have it delivered so that you can fill all of those out, have them stamped and enveloped before you get busy in the spring market. It's also the start of a new quarter. So if gifts and client gifts are on your list and something that you like to do, make sure you have things selected for your Q2 gifts. There's 5 listed on the formula. If you go to the membership site, there's actually a list of 10. So there's 5 additional ones, but I encourage you to select what you're going to do, pick a delivery date for it, set a budget, and get those things executed in Q2. And if you want to jump into, the 21st century with this, think of things like Uber Eats, DoorDash, crumble cookie deliveries. There has never been an easier time to make somebody feel seen with one of these gifts and make it easy for you than there is now with all of those options out there. Give you a prime example of this. This is actually from, and I think she might be on the call today. So Doran had these actually delivered to my house, to my family. And these are from Doe's Bros. And they do donuts a little bit differently. A package arrives and none of the donuts have any toppings on it, but they ship several packets of frosting along with it, as well as all the toppings. You heat up the frosting in the microwave and you dip all the donuts and decorate everything. My kids loved it. I loved it. We're still talking about it a month and a half later. So just a fun way to make your clients feel seen. So Doran, shout out to you for the Bros, Does, Donuts. And she didn't have to leave the house in order to make this happen for us. All right, now we're taking a look at Q2 events as well, and make sure you have something selected for that. Same sort of thing. If you're going to do an event in Q2, you want to make sure you know what it's going to be, when the date is, apply a budget to it. You can go to the membership site as well and download all the resources from a standard operating procedure that walks you through the planning, the event, everything, the invites, the post-event follow-up, suggestions to make it the best event possible right there on the membership site so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Grab these that people have already done and proven successful. So all of that makes it extremely easy. And that's why we also want to talk about today our 1, 2, 3 easiest events for the second quarter of the year. Number 1, be a spring cleaning hero by hosting a dumpster day. This is a super easy event and a great way if you want to get involved in a community. Maybe it's your neighborhood and you just want to make better connections there. Maybe you have a geographic farm that you're really working and you want to be involved in the community there. All you do is you order a very large dumpster. You have it delivered to a spot. It could be your driveway if you're working your neighborhood. It could be a community center. It could be a partnering business's parking lot. And you send out invitations saying, hey, I'm going to be here from such and such time. There's going to be a dumpster there. If you're cleaning out your house this spring, you got a big item to get rid of, but you don't need a whole dumpster, right? Bring it on by, throw it away at our dumpster day. You just sit there for that period of time, meet and greet with your clients, and they get the benefit of not having to order an entire dumpster, getting rid of all that stuff during the spring, and you get all the credit. All you got to do is pay for a dumpster and the invitations. Super easy to do, and your clients will be very grateful. Number two, it's a zoo event. So easy. Send out, pick a date, send out the invites. You just set up a meet and greet table. You put your swag out there, any sort of advertising stuff. You have your wristbands for entry or however you pay for their entry, and that's all you do. You pay for them to enter the zoo. They go and have a great time. You don't have to plan any activities. You don't have to plan or purchase any food. You just have to meet them there during a certain window of time for them to be able to get in, and they have an amazing day at the zoo. Doesn't get easier than that. And then finally, your greenhouse event. They're going to be going there anyways, getting their plants, getting their flowers for the springtime. Why not invite them to a certain time period? They can come. You pay for a discount, or say you give $20 off their bill for each one of those people that arrive. Again, same sort of meet and greet table like you would have at the zoo. Super easy. And remember, as with all events and why we love them so much, you get credit for the invite. You get credit for the time you spend with them there. You get to send them a thank you for attending. And even if people don't come, you still get credit for inviting them. And you can send them a message saying, hey, we missed seeing you there. Looking forward to having you at the next one. So try one of these 3 super easy events. All right, we're going fast because I might run just a little bit over. Days to remember. I want you to think about days to remember a little bit differently, because lots of times agents just think about it as, hey, what image am I going to post on social media for that day, right? What am I going to do for 4th of July, whatever it is? So focused on days in April. Think about not only that social post, but who might need a handwritten note on that day, or who might need a phone call or a text message, or maybe a gift arriving on that day would be extra special. Or like the Zoo Day, National Zoo Day is April 8th. You host your event on that day. So for those with a sense of humor in your sphere, what are you going to do for them on April Fool's Day? Maybe it's National Pet Day, April 11, and a little gift for the special animal in their life arrives, right? Tax day. So we've always seen posts like, oh yeah, don't forget to send in, your taxes by April 15th. Maybe you take a spin on this, because you know who has really great networks of people that you would want to be in touch with is accountants and CPAs. They have large networks. So maybe you think about saying, whew, you made it. You survived that busy season on April 15, or maybe before, a couple weeks before, you send them some sort of survival kit to the office to help them get through the last few days of tax season. Great way to make some connections there. Don't forget about the holidays of Good Friday and Easter, and celebrating those. For those eco-conscious people in your sphere, you got Earth Day on the 22nd. You also have Arbor Day in there too. And then think about college graduations. So final exams start happening at the end of April, and those college graduations might be coming up. Who in your sphere is having a graduate, and you want to make sure to connect with them? So if you're looking for more days to remember, a great website, nationaldaycalendar.com, has all of that information for you. Many more days, all sorts of themes. All right, I promised you a quick story about talking about the stress of the spring market. And in fact, studies have shown, and Harvard's proved it, that all of you as salespeople have significantly more stress in your job because of all the rejection and the uncertainty of outcomes that happen. And that leads to a whole lot more negative self-talk. It reminds me of a podcast from Brian Buffini. He's talking about a top agent out there who just, was talking to their coach and said, I just don't know if I'm cut out for this. Having those feelings of self-doubt because one of their family members recently chose to list with somebody else. And now Brian knew that none of that was true about this top agent. She had helped hundreds of people reach their goals. Excellent agent, but that negative self-talk creeps in. So what did Harvard find, and what do they suggest? And this is what I want you to write down on that page. Write down 3 for 33, just as to remember this, 3 for 33. Harvard found that just writing down 3 positive things a day helped bring that stress level down. And even more surprising and impactful for you, they found that salespeople who did this in their study found that their sales increased 33%. So write down 3 for 33 to reduce that stress during the spring selling season. So you're not looking like any of these people on the screen here, but also to help increase your sales. All right, so at the beginning, you wrote down that number for Q1. You wrote down what you want it to be in Q2. Hopefully, you've identified something that can help you reach it in Q2. And we want you to commit to hitting that higher number in Q2. It doesn't have to be some great big thing that you're doing. Maybe you're just downloading those birthdays and home anniversaries right now. Maybe you're ordering those cards like we mentioned. Maybe it's committing to one more coffee a week with somebody out there. Just find something that will help grow and increase over time, and encourage you to grab something from this meeting to help you do it. All right. As always, as we're wrapping up here, if you've received value from 20MR, we just ask you to please keep our firm in mind if you know any agents who are looking for something new or different. And we encourage you to share 20MR with a friend. It's how we grow the network. It's how we can continue to collaborate with others and make things better. And as a big benefit for the both of you, studies have found that you're 65% more likely to hit your goals if you're doing it with a friend, and you're 95% more likely to hit your goals if you're having regular meetings with that person about what are you doing next, how are you executing on things. And if you feel like you don't have somebody to do that with, consider joining one of our accountability groups. So there's a wait list you can jump on. Just go to 20-mr.com/waitlist and you can get access there. So we want you to be the agent everyone loves to hire and refer in April. And we're so glad that you're able to jump on and join us here today. I went a couple minutes over, but if you have time and want to stick around, I do have 2 bonuses for those that are still with us. So here they are, your 20MR bonuses. Number 1, if you go to 20-mr.com/more, you can download both of these bonuses. Number 1 is the top things that 20MR agents do, the most successful 20MR agents do, because success leaves clues, right? And if we copy and learn from those clues, we can achieve the same success. And so I encourage you to grab this document of the top 10 things the most successful 20MR agents do. And then number 2, clients' favorite things. So if you want to make a more personal connection with your clients, this is a great form that you can either have filled out by your clients. You can create a little Google form around it too if you want to do it electronically, have it go into a spreadsheet. Or if you don't want to ask them these things specifically to fill out the form, these are great things to help conversation or conversation starters when you're working with a client to learn more about them. You remember, you write it down, add it to your CRM, and that way when you are connecting with them later on post-close, so that you don't become one of those 70% that are forgotten, you can make it a more personal connection. So you can grab that form at the same website. And if you're looking for more support still, you can jump on the same website there and check out some of our other services from the coaching, the accountability groups, and everything if you're looking for that as well. Thank you so much for hanging with me. It was great to have all of you on. Go out there and be the agent that everyone loves to hire and refer in April.